specifically the 14th day of March in 2025 on God's good green earth. And there are a lot of things we got to talk about today. But today I want to talk about a topic that you saw in the title, Invincible, and how apparently IGN explained the ending that we saw and how it sets up season 4 of Invincible that we're gonna see, because you know Invincible, they disappear, whatever. After 8 episodes, and by the way, I'm assuming that if you're watching this, that you've seen the episode. I waited a day to watch the Invincible episode because I have Amazon Plus Prime, whatever the fuck it's called, for the video one. I have it and I could have watched it yesterday, but I said no, I'm gonna wait a day. I'm gonna give these niggas a chance, because the second I hear spoiler this, spoiler that, I'm gonna lose it, and I'm gonna show you what crash out really means. Not that little boy TikTok definition of crash out where somebody goes, grrr. Now I'm gonna pop up at your house with a fuel injector, and I'm gonna inject the fuel into your blood and my blood, and I'm gonna set myself on fire, and I'm gonna hug you, and I'm gonna just sit there and hold you, and I'm gonna show you what a real crash out is, okay? But since it's been a day, you can't say nothing about spoilers, because I assume you've watched it, okay? Anyway, after you've watched those 8 episodes featuring huge character deaths, multiple Invincibles, and so much more blood and guts, the 3rd season of Invincible is in the books. It's done being released. But unlike season 2, which ended with a relatively quieter tag for the finale, season 3 not only teed up a ton of story, blah, 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 nigga. Let's talk about the ending. And I'm assuming you've seen the ending and all that. But after Conquest, Fate killed Eve, which, by the way, I read the Invincible comics like years ago. You can check my Twitter if you think I'm lying. Years ago, in like 2019, I read the Invincible comics when I used to work at the library and my work study program at school. So it's certain things that I know. Like, for example, y'all gonna hate me for this, but the episode never came out, so they could fucking round and rewrite the whole story and change it. Rexplode is alive later on, like way later on in the series. So Rexplode blowing up his skeleton, I don't know how they're gonna bring that nigga back, but they are. Rexplode is going to come back at some point. They're gonna bring that nigga back. That's number 1. Number 2 is certain other things I knew. Like, for example, when Eve got her face pounded in, I was sitting there like, how is she gonna come back from this? Because I already know that she's gonna come back from it, but it's like I haven't seen it because the early Invincible comics I never read. The part I read starts way later, after Earth. Somebody came to Earth a couple times and beat up everybody on the Earth after Oliver was already comfortably in his role as like Invincible sidekick, Invincible, whatever the fuck. His costume was different. So the part I started reading in Invincible is way further in the future, way further in the future. But getting back to talking about this, one thing that even watching that fight before they got to the part where Eve died, one thing I was wondering throughout the entire fight is I was like, Eve can do stuff like, even in that fight, she changed the density of the air so that Conquest couldn't fly towards her and hit her or hurt her or anything like that, right? So I was sitting there thinking, if she can do that, why can't she just do something like combust this nigga? Like literally just make him explode. I mean, it seems like a simple solution to a very simple problem. You can change the density of air. How about you condense the air around his body and just collapse him? Like, I really don't understand why Eve doesn't have a lot more people more scared of her than she really is. And I understand she's supposed to be still, quote unquote, learning her powers and stuff like that, and that she can't do anything to living tissue, but living tissue is not the air. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when she be making those pink constructs, I be sitting there like, you're not Green Lantern. You don't run out of energy and therefore have to find ways to conserve it and make certain shapes and get creative. Like, no, you can literally make a tungsten cube out of oxygen if you wanted to and collapse it on that nigga's body. Why are you not? So that's one thing that, like, that's my biggest question after seeing that whole ending fight. Absolutely lose it and bashes. Oh yeah, Invincible beat Conquest to death. Also Morgan famously bashing Glenn Reese, also Yulin, head in The Walking Dead, whatever, but it comes straight from the Invincible comics, which came out in 2009. Damn, that shit came out in 2009? Damn, I was late when I was reading in like 2019. Shit. In any case, Eve is not dead and reveals, as fans who also watch the Adam Eve special learn, that when she's put in moments of extreme stress, she's able to get past the mental blocks that otherwise stop her from transmuting living matter, instead of just inherent materials. However, eagle-eyed fans will also note that when she transmutes Invincible's costume later in the scene, when they are about to have sex, it's made of plants. So she may have broken through these blocks in a bigger way than she realized. Was that plants? Because I thought I saw like goop on the floor or something like that. Like, I didn't know what the fuck was happening. But the way I interpreted that was that her powers are now fucked up because she didn't just turn his clothes into a pile of folded clothes. She turned it into something else entirely. I don't know if I remember seeing plants. I'll have to go back and rewatch the episode, and I'm not doing that. I'm just here to yap. The final conclusion of the episode and the arc of the season is that Invincible visits his half-brother Oliver in the hospital bed. And while Oliver thinks Invincible is going to tell him that killing is wrong, Invincible has decided that if anyone threatens his family again, just as Ancient Levy did in the previous episode of Conquest this week, he won't hesitate to kill them. I mean, yeah, but it's like, that's how all the other marks ended up being what they were being. When the whole war, where all the different marks happened, that's how some of them ended up getting to that path. First, they wanted to protect their family. Then they started being on bad timing. It's a surprising move from the show, though again, one pulled directly from the comic books. Almost word for word. Yeah, everything from the show is pulled from the comics, word for fucking word, event for event, page for page, panel for panel. While the large majority of superhero media, from TV shows to movies to the original comics, wrestle with the should heroes kill debate, Invincible has firmly fallen on the side of yeah, when necessary. Yeah, because we know the classic debate of should Batman kill the Joker? And I think that's a resounding yes. There's very few villains on Batman's level that can truly be rehabilitated. But it's like, bro, we're not talking about people that's going in the candy store and stealing candy repeatedly. We're not talking about people who like the thrill of getting chased by police and so they stealing cars. We're not talking about niggas that's broke so they rob a bank to get some money. We are talking about people who quite literally come from other dimensions to ours just to cause havoc because fuck you, that's why. I don't know. I'm pretty against just killing random niggas, but I think in that situation that counts as when necessary. So when it comes to Invincible level heroes, like, yeah, this isn't the worst rule to have. Cause think about a nigga like Conquest, bro. Conquest is not gonna stop trying to kill everybody on the planet. Still, an ominous musical string played under Invincible's pro-death penalty statement that points to more challenges coming to the way of his realigned moral compass. So expect that this debate might not be as open and shut as the finale indicates. It never is, nigga. It's Invincible. Beyond that, the real eyebrow-raising moments are saved for that montage, so let's break down the season. The season 4 teases down one by one. Return of the Sequids. Oh yeah. That, I feel like, is going to be a minor thing. Really, not really, because, actually, it depends on when the Sequids attack, because if they wait until they get a significant amount of people on their side to attack, then it could get deadly. But if they attack right now, while everything's in shambles, while all these major cities are getting rebuilt after they have been literally collapsed multiple times by not only fights with Invincible, but Invincibles themselves destroying the city, it could cause a lot of havoc because, excuse me, the way I was thinking of it is, damn, when you really think about the destruction and carnage caused by the fights Invincible has, you really got to put in perspective how fucking crazy that is. So, the way I put it in perspective is, imagine September 11th. You know which September 11th. Imagine September 11th, how much manpower and how hard it was, manpower wise, to get that situation together. Imagine that, but look at your nearest projects. Now imagine 9/11, all those buildings. I said it by mistake, but whatever. Imagine September 11th, all those buildings. It's damn, that's a lot of work. And then it's not just your neighborhood, one projects. It's not like they went to one projects and blew it up. No. They did that to a whole city. So imagine a place like downtown Manhattan, September. Every building you see. And if you walk 10 blocks with your eyes closed and point to every building again, September, and just realize how much manpower it took when that happened to one really tall building. Now imagine if that same shit happened to every really tall building and they were all full of people and it all happened back to back to back. And then now imagine in the middle of that, the few buildings that barely can stand, a random motherfucker comes out of nowhere to fight the person who like is the reason why it happened in the first place. Now I wouldn't be mad at Invincible, but I would ask like, yo, what the fuck did I do to get the universe where niggas is just coming and blowing up New York, Chicago and all that? Like, that's fucking crazy. And only a year after the other incident that that blew the town the fuck up. Kind of crazy, bro. That's kind of fucking crazy. And in season 2, last episode 6. Oh, and last scene in season 2, episode 6 is not that simple. It's not that simple. The Sequids are incredibly dangerous Martian brain slugs who almost beat the Guardians of the Globe in their last encounter, including Invincible and Adam Eve. They have taken over the brain of an astronaut named Russ Livingston, Ben Schwartz, who was finally freed and brought back to Earth after a horrifying, harrowing ordeal. Unfortunately for Russ, after he returned to his apartment, which had been trashed by Shapesmith, he threw up a Sequid in the sink, which immediately took over his body. Again! That plot line has been on hold since the aforementioned episode, but looks like it's coming back in a big way in season 4. While everything else has been going on this season, the Sequids have been steadily building an army in the sewers, including what looks like hundreds of human workers and others. Given that we were told the Sequids, if the Sequids ever make it to Earth, it was game over for humanity. Yeah, that's not that bad. Yeah, that's bad. Not long now, says blah. Uh-oh. So how I feel about the Sequids? Again, I don't think they're going to be a major threat if they attack right now. Like, while the city's still in shambles, if they attack right now, GG's. But if they wait until everything gets rebuilt to attack, they're a minor villain, bro. They are a minor villain. At the end of season 3, episode 4, You Are My Hero, the unstoppable battle beast was fighting a Viltrumite in the cold dark reaches of space. We catch up to him here, as well as the scattered remains of the Viltrumite. Battle Beast is in suspended animation, but is quickly picked up by an alien ship, and a few seconds after that, he wakes up ready for battle. He wants more. Another thing I was thinking about with Battle Beast too is like, I don't think a lot of people really understand how incredibly strong Battle Beast is. Cause like, I feel like people don't understand how strong he is because they don't understand how strong Viltrumites are. For a frame of reference, if Mark wanted to, at his season 1 strength, when he first got his powers, that nigga could have ruled North America by force by himself, dolly. When he didn't have any training, when he just barely got his powers, all of that. Mark could have ruled North America easy peasy lemon squeezy by himself. Mark right now, if he wanted to, could do this, go straight forward through the core of the earth and blow up the entire planet. Solo, dolo, by himself. Fuck what all the other heroes on this planet want to say about it. The only hero, real shit, I think that can actually like beat Mark at this present point, like really beat Mark, no plot armor, Adam Eve. And that's because Adam Eve, from where up to where I read, she's the strongest character in this fiction. Like, she can rearrange anything on an atomic level. And the part I got to, I don't know if she unlocked the organic thing, because they didn't really go into that, because that part was already went into, I assume, but at the part of the comic I read at. But nigga, if Adam Eve wanted to, she could solo like anything. She could solo the universe. Without the mental blockade being removed, she could solo the mental universe. If that mental blockade is removed, she she could solo the galaxy. Angstrom Levy, that nigga, she could go and Thanos snap him the fuck out of reality if she wanted to. Like, she is the most broken character in this fiction, as far as I know. So, like, for that to be the only person that can even give Invincible a challenge, let alone kill him, shit. So, Battle Beast being able to beat the shit out of Invincible is an incredible feat, because that means this nigga is so insanely strong. He could beat a nigga like a solo a planet. Even if Earth is seen as a lowly planet because the most dominant species on this planet can't even do anything special like fly, and we can barely do shit like grip rocks. Being that he can do that to even if it is our planet, and Battle Beast can beat up a nigga that could do that. Like I said, I don't really think y'all niggas realize like how strong he has to be to beat Mark to death. I don't even remember how he lost, but he damn near beat Mark to death. A Viltrumite, unconscious. Now, granted, Mark just got his powers. He had no training, no exercise, none of that. But still, he damn near beat this nigga to death. This nigga almost died. His literal intestines were hanging out of his body going every which way. Battle Beast is fucking broken. If that nigga ever bro, I want to see Battle Beast go up against all 50 Viltrumites. All other 50 Viltrumites that's left, I want to see him go up against all of them. Because I guarantee you, he going solo. He is going to solo. All of them. All 50 of them. Because this nigga's fighting 2 and 3 Viltrumites at a time, and he's sitting there like, this shit boring. And while he barely swinging his fist, nigga's whole body's just blowing up. You saw how he was at outer space. He over there going, biting niggas on the arm, taking their whole arm off. He over there, it's 2 niggas deep. One nigga over there in the corner scared like, yo, that's the nigga we got. Mind you, I'm talking about a Viltrumite. I'm not talking about a regular human. Viltrumites in the corner scared like, oh, him? I got no smoke. I don't want no smoke. I want no smoke. I want no smoke. How niggas be when you up pole. I don't want no smoke. I don't want no smoke. Battle Beast is fucking broken. So I fuck with Battle Beast. I like this character, nigga. I think it just pull up and he say, yo, I want problem. Always. All the time. If things pan out on the TV show the same way they do in the comic, the ship was part of the coalition of planets, the group fighting back against the Viltrumites. Alongside Alan the Alien and Nolan Grayson, it looks like the coalition has finally has a fighting chance against the unstoppable aliens. Nigga, once they got Mark on their side, they been had a chance. Now they got Omni-Man? Oh, they really got a chance. And I don't think Battle Beast is going to go on their side. Battle Beast just wants to fight. Like, it don't matter who he see, he want to knock him the fuck out. And one of the best casting coups on the show, the creepy whatever-esque technicians who fixed up Angstrom Levy as first seen in season 3, episode 7, are voiced by blah blah blah. You might know him better as Pinhead from the Hellraiser series. Okay, that's cool. In this teaser of coming attractions, we get to hear Bradley say something extremely Pinhead. After revealing that Angstrom has a new arm, thanks to them, Invincible accidentally amputated it, Angstrom asks what they want in return. Angstrom Levy, you witness what we can do, blah, 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 and what we've done to ourselves to survive here. That one, in terms of the plotline and stuff like that, I don't really have any strong thoughts on that. I really think this one is more like a up in the air. Like, this one is one of the plot lines along with another one that we're going to talk about in a second, the demon one, that I really don't know where it's going to go. And this is something I'm excited to see in the future and see what happens, where it goes, because I have no idea what the fuck is about to happen at all. And I like that mysterious shit. Show me a surprise or two. I don't care about spoilers, but if I do manage to see something without getting spoilers and all I know is nigga is gonna be good, I love it. And I've read the comics, so I know no matter what, nigga is gonna be good. Unless they start deviating strictly from the story that Robert Kirkman built up, like the storyline he built up and whatnot, and they start doing all spin-off shit like the Adam Eve joint, which I don't think was ever in the actual comics, but again, way before the point in the comics where I started reading. Unless they start doing shit like that and doing it terribly, I don't think they could go wrong. They're 3 seasons in, and all 3 of those seasons are fire all the way through. To explain what the technicians are up to is to spoil one of the great plot twists in the Invincible comics. So if you don't want a plot twist for the future, I don't know why you're watching this video. Fuck you. Make sure you hit the like on your way out. Extreme thinks they want a new home, but the technician had better ideas. This is only the beginning of the delights we will achieve. Now the classic Hellraiser line is, we have such sights to show you, while the 2022 remake employed, greater delights await. But come on, if you weren't blah, 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 blah. In any case, to explain what the technicians are up to is to spoil one of the great plot twists in the Invincible comics. Suffice to say that they will tie it into the action, and we have not seen the last of either Angstrom nor the Cenobites. I think that is the John Cena bites. That sounds like a snack he endorsed. Like, hey everybody, are you ready to eat some John Cena bites? Like, no, nigga, I'm not trying to eat a piece of the Peacemaker. Despite Invincible demanding Cecil show him Conquest's dead body, it turns out that the dead. Oh, I didn't even peep that. It was a fake. In fact, Cecil has Conquest locked up in a massive underground chamber as the Viltrumite body reconstructs itself. Yeah, because one of the powers that Viltrumites have that they don't really hard explain in the show, but it's kind of like shown, is that Viltrumites have a very advanced ability to be able to heal themselves, so to speak. Like, they can't completely come back from the depths of the grave. Like, they're not like Immortal, where Immortal, if you leave his body parts on the same planet, that nigga will regenerate and revive. No, they don't have that level of healing. But like, for example, if Mark breaks his arm, it'll be fine within a week. So, yeah, Viltrumite's bodies have a very, 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 very high level of healing. And for a regular human, that body might be destroyed. But for a Viltrumite, his body actually was fine. All that happened was his skin got burnt off and his synthetic arm got broken. For a Viltrumite, that's not a lot. That's not a lot. So he's definitely going to regenerate. And like he said, the body's going to reconstruct itself. And we're going to see what happens from there. Because he put him in a bunch of tungsten steel. But I'm not going to lie. I think sometimes this nigga Cecil will be really underestimating what Viltrumites can do. Because he'd be basing what they could do off of Omni-Man and Invincible. More so Invincible. But it's like, yo, respectfully, even though Invincible is broken, compared to like other Viltrumites, that nigga is pussy and weak. Like, and when I say weak, I don't mean like he's a weak individual, we must cut him from our empire. No, I mean like physically, that nigga is weak. So if that shit could trap Invincible and even Omni-Man, I don't know, man. Cecil's right-hand man protests that this is a mistake. Donald, yeah. Because that shit is kind of stupid. You're going to leave a nigga whose whole goal is to kill people to come back to life. And you think that you can get him and demand for him to tell you about the Viltrum Empire? And he doesn't even give a fuck about the Viltrum Empire? They don't know that yet. But he doesn't even give a fuck about the Viltrum Empire? He just want to beat niggas up? Yeah, okay. If you read the comics, you know that Donald is correct. You cannot hold a massively powerful Viltrumite like Conquest with mere Earth materials, which you didn't have to tell me for me to assume that. And if you've been watching the show, even if you don't know shit about the comics, I shouldn't have had to tell you. But, you know, media literacy isn't that high. I've been finding out over the past months and like the past year that the average media literacy is low as fuck. Most people probably watch Invincible and just see explosions and go, oh man, that's cool. No matter how secure Cecil makes the facility. Unfortunately for Cecil, as well as the world, in this case, Invincible was correct. Conquest should have been killed. Like, before I read this part of the article, I fucking told you that. Tungsten steel? No, that's not gonna hold him. Nigga, that's steel. That shit wouldn't hold Invincible. And like I said, Invincible can solo the planet Earth, and compared to other Viltrumites, he's a weakling. That nigga's an underdeveloped, 21, 22-year-old, compared to like them grown-ass Viltrumites that been working out for years, take their shirt off, they glistening and muscly and shit. And that's the baby Viltrumites. And he's weaker than them. Yeah. I didn't have to read that part of the comics to tell that's what's going to happen. That brings us to the mid-credit scene. While everything else we've explained above happens in the comic books by Kirkland, blah, 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 this scene is completely new. And in fact, it's something Kirkman always wanted to do in the comics, but never found room for. Oh, And there's a surprise voice actor involved. Right after I thought it was saying right, like, okay. Right after the end credits begin, we cut to a Damien Darkblood duck. That sounds like a Jamaican Darkwing Duck. Instead of Darkwing Duck, it's Darkblood Duck. Darkblood Duck. The demon detective we haven't seen since season 1 for Neil Armstrong, Eat Your Heart Out. In case you forgot, it aired back in 2021. After all, Damien was investigating Omni-Man, then set up by Cecil and sent back to hell. As he was sucked down to the inferno, he threatened vengeance on Cecil, and that's potentially what we're seeing here. I think he's gonna get his get back on Cecil, but I think he's gonna have to do a lot of favors and a lot of fuck shit in order to get it. Now missing his trench coat, Damien creates a summoning circle, which calls Demon Lord, voiced by blah blah blah, and Damien hails to the king, Baby. Is that the name of the king, Baby? By bringing the great beast welcome news. Damien explains that he has the means to restore the demon to his former glory and the infernal throne. The key, a surface dweller of great power. This one is one that I think they're setting it up to sound like it's going to be invincible, but it's not going to be invincible at all. It may, I don't even think it's going to be Oliver. Like, maybe they at most were trying to allude to Oliver. I mean, at worst, they're trying to allude to Oliver, maybe Invincible, but I think it's going to be neither one of them. Neither one of them. Damien explains that his blackened heart will be bound to your service, and how will they do that? By conjuring him to hell. It's not going to be Mark, bruh. It's not. In the comics, Darkblood was even more of a blinking you miss him character than he was on the TV show. As Kirkman explained to the Cartoonist K, I don't know how to pronounce that, but the Cartoonist K podcast in 2020, there was originally more planned. The thing that I really regret is, say that again? The thing that I really regret is I never had an adventure where the superheroes went into hell, Kirkman explained. Ooh, so that's why I said, it sounds like this is the only thing out of everything that's mysterious. Now, the other one with the sequids, that I can kind of see where that's going. I could kind of get an idea. That makes sense. But nigga, them going to hell? That could be something new. There's been so many superhero comics where it's like, they go to fight Mephisto or something, and I was like, geez, I never got around to that. Geez, I never got around to that. And the Damien Darkblood character was there, so I could eventually do a storyline like that. And I never got around to it. That's my best Morty impression. Fuck y'all if that doesn't work. Part of the reason this may be the initial storyline and a reveal of Omni-Man as a bad guy was supposed to go nearly double the length that it did in the comic. That would have been 2 seasons by itself. Because double the length of what it already went, that shit went a whole season. So that meant that shit was supposed to be like 2.5 seasons worth of episodes, which I wouldn't have complained of really, but I feel like the pacing in Invincible has been good so far. So I don't really know. I think they did it well. Omni-Man is a bad guy. And I think the way they even unveiled that Omni-Man was a bad guy, especially the way that the whole beginning of because like one of the coolest memories I had for Invincible was showing my pops that first episode and seeing his reaction, because like the whole time while we was watching the beginning of Invincible, again, I never read or like seen the beginning of Invincible, and this was right when only the first episode was out. So I already knew what Invincible was at and what it was and what it was about. Oh, I didn't turn on loop for my instrumental. But I had already seen read Invincible, right? So I know how bloody and how gritty it could get. And I have knowledge of Dark Horse comics because Invincible isn't the only Dark Horse comic I've read before. So I know about Invincible and how Dark Horse comics get down. So when I first seen that episode by myself, I was like, when is it gonna start? Then at the end of the episode, he went in that cave, he woke niggas down, and he started clapping shit. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to start showing this to people. Because, bro, the way they did that episode was so fucking perfect. Because I remember I was watching it with my pops the whole time. He kept complaining. He was like, yo, bro, cut this little kid cartoon shit off. I was like, yo, Dad, I don't want to spoil it, but you're going to like it. And we watched it, we got to that part. He's thinking, he's like, oh my God, finally this shit is almost over, right? Then he sees Omni-Man walking. He was like, oh yeah, he about to go talk to it. What? Whoa, what the fuck? And like, that's just the thing that in general I like about Invincible. Like how it surprises you at times with just different crazy shit. And I know I'm going off on a little side tangent, but it's going to make sense in a second. I like how Invincible will surprise you with certain things like that. And the twists and turns in Invincible are really written for a more adult audience that is used to seeing like different story tropes and whatnot, because they understand the basic tropes that you understand. And they want to take it in twists and turns in directions that you don't expect. And sometimes that you do expect. Because like, even if you think about it, like, bro, one of the parts of Invincible that goes back to what I was saying earlier about how people have very low media literacy, like the average media literacy isn't that high. The point of the show being called Invincible is irony. They call him Invincible because he quite frequently gets his ass handed to him on a silver platter. The nigga went out when, in one of the first episodes earlier when I was talking about Battle Beast, the nigga literally got his stomach beat out his body. That's not a metaphor. This nigga was laying on the floor like this, with his intestines hanging out. That's not an exaggeration, bruh. At all. So, going back to this. Part of the reason this may be the initial storyline reveal of Omni-Man as a bad guy was supposed to go Dark Blood Duck. No, Dark Blood Demon. Nah, Duck sounds better. To be investigating Omni-Man because, well, there was nothing left to investigate. So credit to Kirkman and company for letting that planned story play out on the TV show in a way that we never saw in the books. The big question here is, who is Damian Dark Blood referring to? Dark Blood! Whoa! Whoa! Referring to, is it Invincible? No. Omni-Man? No. Cecil? Double fuck no. You're not catching it. You're not catching Cecil. We'll know more when season 4 of Invincible premieres on Prime Video. Okay, I'll give my before I wrap this up, I'll give my reasons why I think it's neither one of these fucking characters. That's too fucking obvious. And like I said, the way this show is written, they really take into consideration all the like typical TV tropes and stuff like that, because they're well aware that they have an adult audience with a fully developed brain. And if you just make a superhero story where the superhero wins all the time and people just say fuck and they have sex a little bit, I mean, there's going to be an audience for it, sure, but it's not as good as what it is now, where they'll sometimes take it in different directions. They'll sometimes ask adult questions that previous comic books never asked because they were meant towards a more younger audience, like a kid audience. Like, for example, a question you could never really ask in a Superman comic is, yo, what happens to the city after Superman goes, and punches a hero through a building? What happens? The city got to get rebuilt. Who gonna rebuild it? Those are questions that like stuff like this asks, and I feel like Invincible would be too fucking obvious. That nigga doesn't give a shit about Omni-Man. Omni-Man is all the way the fuck over there. He's somewhere else. He doesn't give a fuck about Omni-Man. Cecil, loosely, I would compare him to Nick Fury. He's one of those people where if he tells you a secret, that's not even a full secret. And if he was to tell you the full secret, there's a secret about that secret that connects to another secret that he's secretly keeping from you. So that nigga got plans on plans on plans. You are not catching Cecil slipping. I just don't see it happening. Him and his $1 billion teleport, I just don't see it happening. Is that a text? Okay, cool. Like I was saying, I just don't see that happening. So I feel like it's going to be somebody we don't suspect, like Oliver or some random shit like that. Like it is not going to be Omni-Man. You're not catching Cecil. And Invincible for storytelling purposes is going to be too obvious. And just to scroll to the top, just real quick. Just for clipping purposes.